in order to clean your light, because if you're not getting maximum reflectivity, then you're going to have to get it off. So in order to do that, you've got to take the indicator off first, which means first take this screw off, then you have to take this screw off, undo this screw, undo this screw, and this screw, and there'll be another screw underneath here. You can take the whole grill off, and once you get the grill off, then you can either take the light fully out, or you can pop the clips and take the glass off and give it a good polish inside. So we'll try that first. So first thing we need to do is get there, and you can see the type of screw you need. It's one of these like star screws. So we'll give that a go now. Okay, so we've taken the screw out, and we've got these little plastic things. This one's broken off, but what you got here is a little pin which actually goes down level. And what I find is it's easier to push the pin through first onto the other side, and then what you end up with back here, you push the pin through, and then you get a screwdriver under here and push the pin back up, then you get a pliers and pull the pin through, and then once you've done that and you pull the pin right through, then this panel should just, oh there you go, should just come off like that. So make sure you don't lose this, they're very easy to break. So we got this little thing here, so we can take out the thing. There's a clip. Now you push these two clips inwards, and then it should wiggle and release the battery. So let's see whether I can do that one-handed. So push them in together. Whoa, not easy. I'll come back in a second. Well, anyway, the bottom line is that it's very hard. It's very hard to get this off, so I just fucking stuck a screwdriver in there and snapped it off. What I'll do is I'll cable tie. I'll put a little drill hole in here, and this will all be covered up by the light anyway, so I'll put a drill hole, and I'm just going to cable tie it on nice and tight so that stays onto there. It's not that important anyway. But anyway, here we go. So up there, you've got another screw there, and you've got one more screw there. Once you take those off, the whole light will just come out, and we'll be able to pull these clips off. 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 and 5 over there, and we'll give the whole light a good old clean and stick it back in. It should take about half an hour. Okay, as you can see, the light's on its way out now. There's the screw holes, and this, when you press these two parts together, this whole mechanism, including this plastic here, slides backwards. Make sure all these contacts are clean. When you put it back on, make sure there's no moisture, and make sure these are clean as well. It's supposed to be a sealed compartment, but you never know. Well, what an interesting day. There's the light. I'm going to get some basic degreasant kitchen cleaner, clean up the light on the outside. Won't use that on the inside, tell you why a bit later on. Over here we've got the motor assembly, not from the car. You notice this one's a bit stiff. This is a replacement one I took out of another Sharan, and we're going to have a look at that a bit later on. But what also I've got, what else arrived just a second ago, thankfully the dog let me know, is this thing. It's a video slider. So we'll have a look at that in a bit, but it'll allow us to do slidey shots. So we might be getting professional anytime soon. So right, what we got here then is slightly cleaned up, so it keeps my hands a bit cleaner. But these clips here, you've got one clip, two clip. This is glass. Now what you don't want to do is you don't really want to get metal tools into glass. So what I'm suggesting you may do, of course all this done at your own risk, is that you pull it up from the plastic side, so from the back side, this side here. Don't attempt to pry it from the glass side. Pull it from the plastic side forward. Whoops, and they do pop, so watch you don't catch yourself in the eye. All done at your own risk, as we say. But there we are, so we can, so you can't see what I'm doing. There you are. So get the plastics off. Not the plastics, the metal, but do they're not too bad actually. I mean, you know, you probably be all right, but I mean, as I say, do it from the plastic side. When you put them back on, put them on the glass first and push them round onto the plastic side. So go round onto the plastic side. So there's 3. Here we go. Number. Right. So again, plastic side first. And now that one's a bit, because it's underneath. It's where a lot of moisture there. So what I might do is I might put these weaker ones on top and put some stronger ones, because that is getting pretty corroded. So that was quite loose. So there's one over here. One more to the side. So this one's not too bad. So obviously it's not quite getting all the rain like the other one is. But there you go. So I think there's just one more. Here we are. One more on the side. So just so I can remember where it is, I might put a mark on it with a pen in a second. Right, so that's that side. Come on, baby. There we go. Now, very first look inside the lens. So be careful when you're prying, because you're prying against the glass. But let's have a little look up here. Oh, can we zoom over here? Or have we got to bring it into the middle? Oh, clearly we've got to bring it into the middle. So right, just take your time, because you do not want to crack the glass. So there you go. Glass is coming off. Let me just zoom back. Glass appears to be, whoop, and there's a rubber seal. So ease the seal off. There you go. There you go. Now there's a bit of green slime inside here, and there might be a bit of discoloration on here. We'll have a look on a piece of white tissue in a second, but let's just put that out of the way. But the thing to note now is when you're looking at this, does it look fully reflective? Now it's not bad. That is not bad, but there's a bit of a whitening to it. It's hard to see. So like if I put my hand in as a reflection, you probably notice it's a little bit whiter. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on this and get a bit of a better idea. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But there are some bits at the back. Let's see if we can get you a view into the back where the bulb is. But you see up there, those are definitely heat discoloration. So those are going to be the good bits to clean. So let's see what we got on the glass first. Yeah, we are recording. That's good. So what do we got on the glass? Now we can clean the glass with this kitchen cleaner stuff. So this is completely clear. So let's zoom back. Zoom back. Now let's get in here. I'm gonna take the rubber off. Now I'm gonna remember which way the rubber came. So basically the lip is face down into that. So there's a groove, and the groove faces it into that bit. So I'll get over there first, and then I'm gonna wipe around. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You see? That's all inside. Now it's amazing how much light you can lose by having dirty glasses. So, and it diffuses the light as well. So we put a bit of spray in there, and we just wipe rough casually. Look at the dirt. Look at it. Look at it. This is what I was on about. It to the eye, it looks clean. Once you get in there and you actually start really cleaning this stuff, that's when you're going to notice the real crap. So, you know, around the edges doesn't matter too much. You might get some green slime there, and if you use a bit of Domestos, you'll probably stop the green. Look at this, it's amazing. You'll probably stop the green slime going too far. If you use a kitchen cleaner, something that's got limonene in it, as it says, kills 99% of bacteria, that should help deactivate some of the funguses and green slime that's growing in there. So, you know, just get it off roughly to start with, and then come back and do a better job later on. Clean the lips as well, because that's where the rubber's going to go back on. Obviously that's quite dirty. That's probably where some of this is getting in. It's climbing in through the edges where the mold is growing and allowing a gap to form. So yeah, it's all looking a lot better. Look at that now. That's interesting. So I'm going to keep cleaning this, and we'll come back to when I do the the actual reflector part. Okay, let's give you a little look on this. So just to show you, you know, reflectivity and transmission properties. So that's pretty clean now. It's pretty clean. Now there is some white residue from the paper. I don't know if you can see it where I've been cleaning with the paper. So when you do it with a torch, you'll see that sort of stuff. And if you go over it with your finger, you'll notice that obviously that can clean up a lot better. But to get that properly clean now after you've done it with paper, for goodness sake, don't put it back together with all the dust in there. Now you have to use something like a microfiber cloth and something that won't be producing any dust, and you have to go over what you've done again with that. So we'll get a microfiber cloth and we'll give that a go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean some slimy. There's a bit of a slimy residue that's left, and it may be something to do with the kitchen cleaner, but it's kind of a sliminess, and I'm going to clean it with a degreasant, which is isopropyl alcohol. And I don't want anything in here which is going to cause anything to stick to it, like a gunk, which an oily gunk. I want it completely dry. So I'm going to do that with this and see what it looks like. Here's the thing with the inside. I'm going to show you how the area is kind of a bit funky, and the way we'll do that is with a torch. I'll find my torch. Where's my torch? Torch, a little bit of tissue paper. Okay, now I'm not going to put any cleaning substances on this at all, but you can see there's little drops and marks there. Okay, now let's see if we can kind of get some. There you go, there you go. So now you can kind of see the way the surface is not really reflecting very well. Okay, because if you come down and you start looking at where this is, you see the difference? It's just diffused versus reflective. So it's very reflective there, and it's very diffuse there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wipe that area, and you can see the difference it's making. See? So this is basically going to make it more reflective again. So I'm going to give it a light wipe with tissue paper and a little bit of alcohol. I'm not going to use kitchen cleaners because they may have oils in them. So just a little bit, and it's going to be very light, very light. I may consider using a little bit of Novus #2, and we'll see what happens there. But it's all the grease and shit has to be cleaned off, and this has to be squeaky clean afterwards. So let's put a little bit of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, on a piece of tissue paper. Be prepared to use a lot of this stuff because you know you want to. You don't need much. Just need to let it soak in. And let's have a little look at what we got. Look at that! Wow! Look at the difference that made. Just a couple of wipes, and you can see the dirt there. So let's see. Just a couple of wipes. You can see it evaporating off there. Now sometimes it'll evaporate with a bloom. So you know, we'll have to polish the bloom out later on. You can see it's kind of making a difference. I can see it. It's not so easy to see on the camera. Don't know why. But hey, you've got to find the right angles for these things. But you can see the kind of effect it's having. So let's turn the paper over because we don't want to wipe dirt in. Little spray of the stuff. Okay, I'm going to go into the bottom. Misses. Let's zoom this back so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you know, basically doing that and slight polishing action at the same time. Take a little look. Now it's kind of leaving the surface with kind of like a scummy sort of quality. So I'm going to try a little bit of Novus #2 and see if we can get that to a fine shine. And we'll see if we can kind of show you if there's any way to kind of show you the surface in a minute. Let's see if that's any good. Can you see it there? Okay, so how are you going? Ah, you can see it. There's kind of like a scumminess to the surface. Now that's not a bit I cleaned, so I'll try I'll try a little bit with my alcohol, but you've got to get through that slime first, and then you've got to use some like Novus. So there you go. So unfortunately, as you can see, polishing it, and it just kind of comes back. So it's actually going to need to have the surface taken down just a touch. So I'm going to go and get some Novus too, and we're going to experiment and see if we can get this super reflective. So be back in a second. Okay, so I got my Novus here. This is number 1, which is for after you've finished. Number 2 is a very fine scratch mover, and number 3 is a heavy scratch mover. So we don't want this one because I'll probably do some damage. Heavy scratch mover, and we do a lot of light action to actually get this to go. Now they normally recommend that you then put plastic clean and shine on afterwards, but I don't know whether it was ever designed in this mirror surface to have something like this, because this is oily waxy. And I don't want oily waxy attracting the wrong sorts of things. So I'm just going to use Novus. I'm going to clean it up with that, and then I'm going to degrease it all with the alcohol again and see what we get. Right, okay, so you don't need a lot of this stuff. Okay, just a little bead like that. Okay, and I'm going to come on the inside here. I can't see what this looks like very well. So let's try and set myself up, and let's just hope for the best. Let's just hope for the best that you can see what's there. So I'm going to do a small area. You basically rub it in, circular motion, and it breaks down the surface, and it acts as a kind of an abrasive substance as well. So let's see if I can turn the old light down a bit. That might help. Yeah, so there we go. So now I'm going to just use tissue paper to wipe it off, wipe the excess off. Okay, and just keep using loads of tissue paper to break it back down. Wow! Oh my God, that really has taken the crap off. Wow, that's a real mirror now. Oh my God, I wonder if you can see this. Can you see the difference? I think you can actually, yeah. Let me just focus. Wow. Can you see the difference between the dirty, scummy side of the mirror on the left and the really reflective side? Obviously, I'm producing some scratches, but I'm going to use a different material. I'm going to go and get the microfine cloth. Oh yeah, put your bulb in some tissue paper. Don't get your fingerprints on it, because the grease will have to be cleaned off with alcohol if you get any fingerprints on it. That will actually eat into the glass and break your bulb well ahead of its lifetime. So yeah, so I'm going to get on with the polishing now. I'm going to do the whole thing, and we shall see what it's like and come back to you in a minute. Yeah, I'm just starting the process with tissue paper, and I'm going to do the rest of the polishing. So you can kind of see the gunk. Looks pretty crappy when you're in mid-flow, but don't worry, it polishes up really nice. I mean, look at the dirt that I've just got off there. I mean, this is the level of what you can't really see, and that's cutting down your light. Right, full disclosure, I gotta warn you. You know, if you use too much of the Novus, and if it's in an area that's received a lot of heat, such as, let me get something to point with. So if you see in this area at the top, let's see if I can show you. This area is a bit too heat damaged to be cleaned properly. And up here, I don't know if you can see it, if you can actually see, by using too much Novus, let me just see if we can focus, there we go. By using too much Novus and rubbing too much in this heat damaged area, it actually took the silver off. So less is more. Use a small bead of Novus and work it in gently. Don't press too hard. Work it in gently and then pull it off. You know, you don't have to keep doing it. You know, 4 or 5 wipes back and forth, wipe it off, polish it off, and then use a bit of alcohol to clean it afterwards. but there are some areas which are heat damaged from the heat coming up from this bulb, like this bit up here, and they just don't really want to polish up so well. But there you go. So full disclosure, be aware, don't press too hard, no power tools, no rotating Dremel, cleaning discs, you know, like the soft cleaning cloths, nothing like that. It's got to be done by hand. So there you go, guys. This is upside down now, so you can see, but there are two patches where I was trying to clean. This is upside down, so the heat was actually going down onto that surface, and just the slightest bit of Novus and cleaning and the silver comes off. So in heat damaged areas, you may want to not even use the Novus, maybe just do a little bit of alcohol cleaning or something like that, because the Novus will take that surface off if you're not careful. So deactivate the Novus by using alcohol. I do the alcohol clean piece on, and just a tiny little squirt, wipe it in across the whole surface area. Okay, then throw that away, get a new piece of cloth, new piece of tissue paper, and then just polish it lightly. I'm hardly even pressing. Just polish it lightly just to dry up the alcohol. Make sure there's no smears or any, sometimes you get like a white powdery effect sometimes when the alcohol dries. So just polish that all off. Now, you tell me, what do you reckon? Look at the reflection in that now. Now, what do you reckon? I think I'm going to get a lot more light out of my bulbs. I think my car's going to be rejuvenated. What do you reckon to that then? That is one reflective piece of shit. Total cost, about £5 for some Novus, 10 quid for alcohol, which will last you for ages, and some toilet paper. Brilliant. Forget, before you put it all back together, a little bit of alcohol in here, clean it all off. Don't want any smudge stuff from any oily materials. This rubber foam material, be very careful, very light with it. Don't use any solvents or anything that might melt it, and then push it back into the inside of this bit first, and then it makes it much easier to get the glass in. So give it a little press all the way around, make sure that it seems snug, make sure there's no bits that seem to be sticking out or won't go in. Give it the best look over you can to make sure it looks even all the way around, and then we're going to get the glass. Make sure one last time. Here we are. Now you can see the headlight. Now you can see it's quite shiny in there. Let's have a little look, see if you can tell the difference. Okay, so that's that headlight. Let's come around to this headlight. Now, I'm gonna clean the shit off it, but let's see. So you got that one. Kind of looks like that. It's a bit hard to see, but I think you can kind of see that it's a cleaner look. Right, but anyway, let's try this now. So turn the lights on. It's not incredibly easy to tell, but you can see this is green and that's white, and that's darker to my eyes, and that's definitely brighter. Let's see if we can see from the other side. See if there's a way to kind of see this. Let's see if we can tell. So this one brighter than that one, definitely, and cleaner. So we're going to get a good beam from that. So all in all, I think a thumbs up. Now I'm actually outside now, and you can see the difference in the two lights. And you can see the one on the left is the bright one, and the one on the right is the dim one. So that, obviously they're out of alignment, I'll have to do that a bit later on. But this is the dim one, and that's the bright one. So let's see whether we can focus that up. So hopefully you can see, you know, dim side, that's the whole dim area, that's the whole new bright area. Massive difference, probably about 50, maybe 100% more light, twice as much light. So it's really quite stark when you see it like this. Now the one, there's like two lines, okay? Now the one on the left is the left beam. Okay, so this one here is the left beam. Now this one above it is the right hand beam. It's slightly high, but see how defocused it is? See how really badly defocused it is? So this beam here is the left, and this beam here, which is defocused, is the right. See how powerful this spot is, and see how dim that one is. Okay, so just gives you an idea. Getting a lot more light now. So there you go. Okay, there you go. Back outside the house, and you can see very bright versus, you know, not so bright. Very bright, not so bright. So this is the one I've changed, and now we're going to do this one. Douche, 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 douche for the Benson. Douche, 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 douche for the Benson Massive. Douche, 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 douche.